When a society suddenly boils over into chaos, scarcity, and open rebellion, the survival of the state hangs in the balance. The standard response to this kind of crisis is to tighten the grip. You deploy guards to the streets, raise taxes to fund security, and enforce harsher punishments to crush dissent. But throughout history, these extreme interventions almost universally accelerate a collapse rather than preventing it. Clamping down doesn't restore order, it shatters the remaining stability. 2,500 years ago, the Tao Te Ching provided a pragmatic diagnostic manual for this specific failure in political and organizational governance. Its thesis suggests the population isn't inherently flawed or broken. Instead, the very act of trying to control them is what causes the system to break down. Order cannot be manufactured by sheer human force. To understand why, we have to look at the exact mechanics of how control destroys the stability it claims to protect. The first root cause of societal failure is economic. Chapter 75 identifies this as systemic scarcity, caused by top-down extraction. The governing class consumes a multitude of taxes, resources siphoned from the wide base up to a heavily weighted peak, causing famine below. Compounded by constant administrative interference, this heavy downward pressure makes the entire structure tremble and crack. Constant micromanagement strips the population of their autonomy. Every new rule adds friction, making the basic task of living an exhausting burden. This friction is the primary reason people become unruly. They aren't naturally hard to govern. They are reacting to a system that has become unworkable. The harder a leader works to manage every detail of the system, the more volatile and unstable that system becomes. Overgovernance creates a feedback loop where leaders actively starve and agitate the very system they rely on for their own power. Eventually, the extraction loop takes a psychological toll. When every day is a struggle for survival, living becomes an exhausting, heavy weight. When life is miserable enough, people stop placing a high value on their own survival. They simply stop fearing the end. This reveals the fatal flaw in the state's ultimate weapon. If a population no longer fears death, capital punishment loses its power as a deterrent. Chapter 74 compares a ruler who uses death to enforce order to an amateur gripping a massive specialized axe meant only for a master carpenter. Attempting to artificially manufacture order through execution is a task beyond any human ruler's capability. The text warns that the amateur will eventually slip and chop off their own hands. Coercion destroys the one who uses it. Relying on ultimate threats to maintain order only accelerates a leader's downfall, leaving behind a power vacuum and a broken society. If aggressive human intervention and harsh laws inevitably fail, what is the alternative for maintaining justice? Chapter 73 introduces the Way of Heaven, a model of governance that does not strive, yell, or actively demand compliance, yet successfully overcomes obstacles. The central metaphor for this natural law is the heavenly net. Its meshes are massive and set incredibly far apart. To the human eye, it looks wide open, as if it couldn't possibly catch anything. Yet despite these vast gaps, absolutely nothing escapes its reach. It represents the inescapable laws of natural consequences that regulate the world without needing to be forced. For modern leadership, the lesson is that true power lies in aligning systems with human nature and stepping back to let the net do its work.